And we've graduated to another edition of the smAshlights, where I will just talk about whatever I want, no matter how interesting or boring you may find it. Researchers offer unprecedented look into central engine powering solar flare. And what is it? What is it? I'll tell you what it is. It's a bottle of electrons, as they call it, a bottle of electrons, which they don't know where they come from. Now, I know where they come from, and our regular viewers probably know also. We won't get into it in depth in today's Daily Space Weather, as this is a cosmology segment waiting to happen. Anyway, we see electrons trapped in these regions, which look a lot like a Van Allen belt around the Earth, if you've noticed. And it gives us great insight into how the interior of the sun is structured. Why? Because it's made of condensed matter. Prove me wrong. Go ahead, leave a comment. Prove me wrong. I dare you. Anyway, we use radio telescopes to get very detailed images of how different portions are moving around, and that's what gives us an idea of where the potential field force lines are located. So this Owens Valley Solar Array, part of the New Jersey Institute of Technology, I would like to actually visit that if I was willing to set foot in New Jersey, which, by the way, I'm not. Anyway, that was a very large coronal mass ejection sparked by a large solar flare. And that one took place... When did that one happen? Anyway, it was an X8.2 size solar flare. You can look it up based on that if you really want to. The second largest solar flare to have occurred in cycle 24. Anyway, check out the article if you don't know about the way solar flares appear to work. This gives us some ideas into the mechanism, although you'll notice in the article that the astronomers do not know where all those electrons come from, because the fusion dynamo core model of stars doesn't support that level of electron flux. And let's move on to talk about Earth's geomagnetism. Earth's geomagnetism. Here's a hint. It's generated from the exact same thing as the sun's. It's condensed matter. Yeah, it's condensed matter. Once you get matter down to millions of atmospheres of pressure, folks, the properties completely change. They turn black. They become superconducting, superionized states. They give up electrons, and that's how it works, folks. Anyway, it turns out that there's new evidence from Curtin University-led research suggesting that the Earth's first continents were not formed by subduction in a modern like plate tectonics environment as previously thought, but instead have been created by an entirely different process. Let that one sink in. Yeah, when I keep saying over and over again that all of physics is essentially being rewritten, especially cosmology, astronomy, and geophysics, well, again, prove me wrong in the comments if you like. And by the way, if you're viewing live or if you're viewing Memorex, leave us a comment anyway. Now let's talk about smAshomash.org and smAshomash.com. You might see that they look a little bit weird right now. And so if you type in smAshomash.org, this is what you'll see. And it's just because we are in the process of making some major changes here. So don't be disappointed if you see some nonsensical looking stuff there. Smash staff will be working on it today. And let's talk about smAshomash.com/forum. That's not going to be changing very much, if at all, as there's no reason to change that around. So please check it out if you haven't. And we're up to, let's see, 1,331 users now. Good times. We've got forums about cosmology, Earth and geophysics, general science, one dedicated strictly to the sun. And thanks for recently updating that at Monotep. Thanks for posting about coffee, Nabo J. And we don't know where Amy Vesley is with the movie recommendations, but we're waiting and waiting for her to make a login and put up movie recommendations. Now, Amy's somebody that I've known since, I think, middle school age, around 6th grade or so. and she seems to be having some technical difficulties. Look us up on Facebook if you haven't seen Amy's exploits. And the last movie recommendation we put up was actually Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, celebrating the life of Olivia de Havilland, who passed away on Sunday, sadly. Now, we are streaming live to Twitch. It's twitch.tv/smAsho. If you haven't checked us out there, well, you'll see the content live. And we are also we're also on YouTube, youtube.com/smAsho. Please take a moment to press like and subscribe over on YouTube. Visit our links. Visit the description below the video and visit our links to help support the channel. We're also on BitChute, and we're now at 200 subscribers, so congratulations everybody over there. Thanks to our newest subscribers. We'll have to do an exclusive on BitChute just for that reason. Let's talk about patrons. Patrons are the real source of funding for the content, and we've raised our membership levels to 9 different levels now, so anywhere between $1 and $15 a month, mainly in $1 increments, are now available for your convenience. Thanks to our patrons, the real source of funding for the content, as Google AdSense tries its best through algorithmic nonsense to pay us absolutely nothing. If you've noticed, we can't seem to get to 1,700 subscribers, and we're not sure that we care, because being associated with Google could become a liability, let's just say. Anyway, credit crawl coming soon with our patrons. We're also on Subscribestar. Again, please consider supporting the channel, because there's a lot of stuff for us to do, and we need lots more funding, in order to accomplish any of it. So it'll all be coming back your way through additional content once we get to a full-time status of doing basically this. Have you been hearing what former NCAA linebacker Dr. Rachel Levine, the physician general of Pennsylvania, has been flapping Dr. Levine's lips about? No, I'm not using pronouns. Anyway, I couldn't imagine Tom Wolfe and Rachel Levine and Andrew Cuomo and other Democrat governors to be playing politics with a pandemic, could you? Let's talk about other things I put up on Instagram. If you don't follow me there, it's instagram.com/smAshomash. So, Mr. MBB333, once again, him and Gina Maria Colbert confused, both put up a video about this, the coronal mass ejection from a couple of days ago, which shows this foreground artifact, and it has nothing to do with the solar corona. That's a little flash that appears because of something like a cosmic ray hitting the actual aperture. And then they put up videos, and they make thousands of dollars per month talking about complete nonsense. So, to Mr. MBB333, that's a foreground event, not part of the corona. Enjoy the thousands of dollars you earn from this nonsense. I'm sure the fates will favor such phonies. You know, karma's a bitch, and some people have really got some karma payoffs coming for them. Let's talk about Nibiru. Planet X has nothing to do with gravity. It's a tired and silly subject, and would have been seen if it existed. Backyard astronomers discover little tiny asteroids all the time. How? Occultation, which is when an object moves between your focal point and you. A planet just floating around, even if it was completely dark and absorbed all light like a soot-coated black body, would have been seen again and again. It would be obvious, but it's not, because it's not there. Coronal mass ejections affect people in many ways, not the least of which would be power failures. People with sensitive conditions and bad electrolyte balance are subject to space energy, especially subject to space energy. I mean, it's getting weirder and weirder as it becomes apparent that a single star can suddenly affect the weather here on Earth. Sounds like astrology, but it's as serious as a heart attack. The pole shift, the geomagnetism, and in general, science is coming into focus. So again, welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. 2020 has become a real year of clarity. The Earth has no liquid iron outer core, nor a solid iron core. That's archaic nonsense, like the sun containing a fusion dynamo. I think I know what generates geomagnetism, but talk about a tiny minority of people who get it. Condensed matter explains all of it. Gaseous plasmas cannot propagate a stable magnetic field. Deal with it. The universe is not electric and neither are stars fundamentally. Do a web search for superionized water or for liquid metallic hydrogen, and you'll realize why cosmology is about to get a major rewrite. Let's talk about Mark, who famously learned how to drink how to drink water, as I'm drinking coffee, and I'm totally amped about this story. Facebook employees are voting with their feet by quitting their jobs. So shout out to those Facebook employees. Well done. Well done. Some are leaving because they're not happy with what Mark is saying. Now, what Mark is saying, I have no idea, because I don't listen to Mark, because I think Mark's got his head so deep through his you-know-what that he views the world through an esophageal periscope, if you know what I mean. Let's talk about Reuters. Now, Reuters fancies themselves as a financial publication. However, it is a complete propaganda site. Check this out. They like to put up graphics, right? Here's how systematic racism, and I should put that in quotes. It's, quote, systematic racism, right? Here's how it plays out in Black Lives. So let's see. Birth rates. I guess the government causes birth rates to be different. Disparities between the basics of life. Food insecurity must be the government's fault, even though they provide food stamps and other welfare. Educational attainment, even though the government makes it easier. I don't know how this is systemic racism, folks. Student loans. Oh my gosh, the government extends student loans. Must be systemic racism. How about worse health? That must be the government. The government must be making black people less healthy than white people because reasons. Now, they get longer federal sentences. Could it be because of prior convictions? I don't know. Voting access. Oh, yeah, the government is trying to prevent people of color from voting. Apparently, that's a thing that a lot of people on the left side of the aisle believe. Net worth. Must be the government lowering people's net worths as if that's a thing. Anyway, I just wanted to cite Reuters as being pathetic purveyor of propaganda. Let's talk about COVID. Oh my God, I'm so scared for you. Take that, you cheap Chinese plastic virus. You're made in China. 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 By the way, I've been saying China's a paper tiger since they locked down Wuhan in, what was it, January, February? Paper tiger, not scary, not going to attack the U.S., and not going to economically decouple with the U.S. Bill Whittle agrees with me, and he was saying stuff that sounded practically verbatim to stuff that I've been saying for 5 months. Let's talk about the failures of the U.S. in dealing with Fisher-Price, My First Scamdemic, and the MLB debacle. So the Marlins opened their season last Friday with a 3-game series in Philly, and then 14 players came down with COVID, and now they're locked in a hotel in Philly. That also caused the Yankees to not play last night. Screw you, Yankees. I can't stand you, but I'd love to see you get annihilated by the Phillies, because the Yankees are one of my least favorite teams in all of sports. Second only to the U.S. Postal Service cycling team and the New England Patriots, yes. Anyway, MLB debacle has occurred. Let's talk about some non-debacles. If you follow InCycle, you may see content like this. Now, this came out yesterday, and listen to what the guy says at the beginning.
After what at times has felt like a lost summer, cycling racing is back.
Yeah, cycling racing is back, folks. How many riders do you see wearing a mask? How many riders do you see social distancing? Guess what? Spain is ahead of the U.S. Here's the U.S. national champion talking about the fact that he's going to lose time either yesterday or today, and will try to go on the attack and get in a breakaway on the third day.
There's big things going and I'll go, otherwise it's like I'll try for the finish and then...
So yeah, the U.S. national champion is racing in Spain. It's some kind of a World Cup level stage race. Here's a little clip from the end of the race. And how many spectators do you see wearing masks? The answer is 0, folks, which means Spain is ahead of us. Like most of Europe, the idea to not open schools is absolutely idiotic and mentally challenged, as the U.S. government tries to make you more mentally challenged. Let's talk about collapsing economies, plagues, and climate change. Well, somebody's been studying grape leaves around the Levant, which is the area east of the Mediterranean. And it turns out that there's some evidence of plagues and grapes and volcanoes. So perhaps read the article here. Here's an unfinished Byzantine basilica, which is thought to have been halted as a result of the Black Plague. By the way, that's a hand with the Black Plague. And if you catch it early, some of the simplest antibiotics will defeat it. Anyway, you may be interested as one of the viewers of our channel to review the story here on SciTech Daily about how grape seeds revealed the collapse of ancient economy in the grip of plague and climate change. Something not going on now in any capacity. Let's talk about merch and the infantile response of mankind. And currently, I think the U.S. may be the world leader in having a pathetic, idiotic, politicized response where there's a bunch of science deniers grandstanding like straight up bitches, you know who you are, on social media, and talking nonsense, being a science denier. Prove me wrong. Leave a comment. There's new merch. It's just been put in the store today. It's teespring.com/stores/smash-store-5. There's links below the video to it. So this is the latest shirt that we've made. I've survived a global pandemic so far. And by the way, smAsho.org will help you do so. Here's the storefront. Again, it's teespring.com/stores/smash-store-5. So we've got Smasher Price My First Pandemic t-shirt, color version, leggings, which come in 3 colors, by the way. And now we've got the I Survived a Global Pandemic so far. And I may have to get a set of these, or maybe these. I don't know. So yeah, buy some merch and help to support us that way. Also, if you'd like to share any breaking news with us, or a story that we haven't picked up, or if you just want to send me hate mail or whatever, or if you want to send images, we may feature those on the channel also. It's country code +1, area code 610-936-9799 for the smAsho VoIP line. Country code 1, area code 610-936-9799. And thanks again for tuning into another episode of the smAshlights. And now it's time to vanish and go back to some more content.